Hello and welcome to the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility for Game 3 of today's FFA Cup State Qualifiers fixtures here today at Spears Point. We've already had two. We already know the two of the sides who will be progressing to round 7, Valentine Phoenix and Maitland FC. They are already on their way to round 7, but still 2 games to come, including this one between the Bangalow Blue Dogs from Football Far North Coast, as well as the NPL Northern New South Wales side, Hamilton Olympic, as we move into the final straight on the road to the round of 32. Thank you for joining us here on Bar TV Sports. My name is Quentin Connors, also known as Q. For today's game, I am joined by a Broadmeadow Magic legend, a 2-time NPL Northern New South Wales Player of the Year, Peter Haynes. Welcome aboard for another game, mate.
Thanks, Quentin. Good to be here.
Big game as well, I suppose, because for these games, especially like the ones against the Northern Conference, you would have known from just calling the game previous as well. You're not really sure what to expect from the Northern side because you don't really watch all too much. But I mean, in saying that as well, I mean, what are you kind of expecting from this match here today? Yeah,
you're exactly right. It is difficult for the local teams, or for both sides, to get a read of each other. They don't see too many games. It's a little bit better nowadays with initiatives like Bar TV that you can get a little bit of footage and get a bit of an understanding about the style of play and some of the tactics, and more importantly probably the key players. But from Hamilton's perspective, it's a good opportunity, I guess, to not just progress through the FFA Cup, but to maybe get their season back on track. They'll be looking for a solid performance against what I'm expecting to be a pretty industrious, hard-working Bangalow side. The general manager at Football Far North Coast has given us a little bit of an insight into their quality. So it's going to be a really interesting match.
Well, they're travelling about 8 hours, we're told, to get to here. Had to stop over at Port Macquarie last night. So they won't want to be going home all that way empty-handed. They want to be going, knowing they're going to the round of 32. Will be a tough ask, though. Hamilton Olympic featuring once again in the round 6 state qualifiers. They've never been to the round of 32, though. They've been to the round 7 on a couple of occasions. Are we hoping that changes? The ball coming in there to Shinichi Kawachi. He lies it in behind to Reese Cooper. Can they get an early goal? Going to be a corner kick instead. We'll just quickly run through the lineups for you guys while they take that corner. For Bangalow, number 1, Mexican goalkeeper Jefty Jarez Leva. Number 2, Scott Fuller. Number 3, Adriano Talone. Number 4, Jonathan Green. As Kawachi just steps up for this corner, and it's a flat one into the box. I think they found the head of Reese Petter, but it wasn't with any power. But continuing on, number 5 for Bangalow, Callum Viel. Number 6, Jeremy Durant. Number 7, Harry Dunsmore. Number 11, Connor Bensley. Number 9, Dane Smith. Number 10 is Roy Devlin, their goal scorer. Number 8, Joel Fuller on the bench for them. Just the one, which is surprisingly, Sam Ireland in number 15. You don't often see just one player on the bench, Peter.
No, especially with such a rigorous travel itinerary. They've come down with a pretty lean squad. Coach Neil Fuller obviously pretty happy with their group, so we'll see how that plays out.
Reese Pappas, I should say, just gets taken out from behind a little bit, playing on nonetheless. Kawachi now that far side of your screens. Hamilton just looking to control possession. They do so often in the NPL, Northern New South Wales. Definitely a way they like to play their football. Had a very strong defence so far this year, Hamilton, as a long ball there from Jake McGuinness is cut out there by Fuller, Scott Fuller that is. We'll just run through the Hamilton lineup as well once we get a chance. Marcus Duncan looking to get a cross in. He's going to switch it across the face of play in the end. Cody Lucas looking for a quick 1-2 with Sutherland. Bangalow working in defence to try and hold them down. Sutherland again. McGuinness. Kawachi playing a little ball in behind. Can Sutherland get a toe in? It's a good challenge there. Still popped out though for Olympic, and they're going to just start again. No, there's going to be a free kick just on the edge of the box. Well, if Scott Petter was on the field, we'd be saying this is prime time his position, but he's not on the field. He is starting on the bench. Reese Pappas is going to take it instead, who can also hit a ball though.
Great little passage there from Hamilton to start the game. Some really intricate combination play on the edge of the box.
Reece Pappas, I should say, crosses it in. It's a good shot. It was a good save there from Juarez. And they're going to get a throw in as well, Bangalow.
Yeah, Juarez, fantastic save. You would have seen that late to his left-hand side. He got across, 2 strong hands on it. Decent strike from Reece Pappas there. Probably would have liked it off the boot, but a cracking save. Keeps Bangalow in the game early on.
Well, those ones can often be so hard as well, can't they, when you hit at that side of the wall? Because the keepers aren't usually expecting it to go that side. They're usually expecting to go up and over. There's Pappas again. He goes up and over now to Marcus Duncan. Marcus Duncan's going to go first time into the box, looking for Ken Harrison. Instead gets a corner.
Super ball there from Marcus Duncan. He had to take that one with pace. He was at full stretch. He wrapped his right foot around it. Cracking delivery.
Cody Lucas now. Bangalow backs against the wall early on at the moment. Hamilton trying to squeeze them. Trying to find a few holes through the middle there. Haven't gone around too much. There's now Bangalow, maybe their first attack of the game. Scott Fuller, he's pounding down the outside there. It's sniffed out by the Hamilton defence.
It's important Bangalow get a little bit of time on the ball, a little bit of consolidated possession. Spoke too soon, ball turned over on that instance there.
Commentator's curse.
They will find the ball hard to come by, you would expect, against a side with the ability of Hamilton Olympic.
Maybe Ken Harrison now. Can he get a chip away past the keeper? Good keeping. A low save. He just had to get a hand in there. And he's won a goal kick as well, although I'm not sure if he's 100% right after that challenge.
Yeah, Juarez, I thought he was in no man's land for a second there. It was a fantastic ball over the top. It wasn't too intricate. It was just a straight ball that they got the better of. And for a second there, I thought he might have just been stranded, but he recovered excellently well. Good strong right hand down for the save. He's copped a boot in the head for his troubles, Juarez. 2 important saves already. Hamilton looking very, very sharp, Q.
Yeah, and when you only have one player on the bench as well, that's not the player that you want to be going down with injury. The goalkeeper. No. We will run through quickly the Hamilton lineup, though, before we can take this goal kick. Number 21 in goals for Hamilton is Jez Murray. Tyler Warren sitting on the bench. Number 4, Cody Lucas. Number 5, Marcus Duncan. Number 6, Reece Pappas. Number 7, Jake McGuinness. Number 8, Jared Sutherland. Number 10, I should say, Reece Cooper. Number 14, Reece Pettit. Number 16, Shinichi Kawachi. Number 18, Kent Harrison. And number 22, the captain, Kyle Hodges. On the bench for them, as we said, Scott Pettit. Number 13, Jed Hornery. Number 15, Ren Fukumoto. And at number 17, Jared Kresner. Duran looking for a pass. Pappas with the ball now. And like you said, Pete, it's just Hamilton looking to just control the pace of the game at the moment with the ball at the foot on the ball. And I don't think Bangalow will be seeing all too much of the football that they might in the football Far North Coast competition.
No, that's right. And I look, at the middle 4, I guess it is, to a certain extent. You look at Pappas, you look at McGuinness, and then Kawachi and Cooper, who are going to play a huge part in this game already. We've seen Kawachi and Cooper involved almost in the front third, and McGuinness and Pappas really controlling the tempo and the speed of the game as 2 sixes. Very important that when Bangalow do get some possession, as they do now through Juarez, the goalkeeper, that they keep it as best they can and not just kick it away as they did on that occasion.
Well, is that something that you would look at? I mean, playing it against a team that, as Kent Harrison tries to get in behind there, thought he might have been offside. Referee's flag has stayed down, and Juarez again coming to the rescue for Bangalow. Cameron Fuller there. Both 3 Fullers involved in this game. Scott Fuller, Cameron Fuller, and the coach Neil Fuller. Fuller house, as you could say.
It's not bad, kid. It's not bad at all.
There's a chance
there
here
from Kyle Hodges. Shout for a penalty from the Blue Dogs.
Man, you got away with that one. Kyle Hodges was far too casual inside his own box there. There's Jared Sutherland now trying to get at the Bangalow defence, and it just pops back out again for Pappas. And again, they're going to go long and over to the corner there. Kawachi with it. looking to use a quick feeder. He finds McGuinness. He's got a bit of room. Ken Harrison, 1-0.
Super finish, Ken Harrison, and again, Kawachi, Cooper involved, McGuinness, Pappas, all the usual suspects. Ken Harrison found himself with an acre of space on the left-hand side, just inside the box, and finished with aplomb, a much harder finish than it looked. Cute, just to keep that one down. He had a narrow angle on the near post, but really good signing from Peter McGuinness, bring Ken Harrison into the side, and he's paying his way at the moment.
Oh, he is. That in the league, he's got 4 goals from 4 appearances. He also scored in their cup appearances against Warners Bay and Hamilton Azuri, and now he's got another one against Bangalow here. So definitely, as you said, paying his wage at the moment, and a very good mid-season signing from the Newcastle Jets youth. But more importantly, though, Hamilton Olympic now up 1-0 against Bangalow here in the FFA Cup. Not even 9 minutes gone in this one, and that one seeming far too casual for Olympic to just stroll in behind. And again, Reece Cooper. This time the offside flag has gone up.
Yeah, it didn't work out on that occasion. Super run, and that's what you're going to get from Reece Cooper. He's one of the best in the league at making those runs from midfield beyond Ken Harrison. The Blue Dogs' defence is going to have to be on their toes. I was just going to mention beforehand, there's been a couple of instances early, and it's something that Neil Fuller and his coaching staff are going to have to address, is the change of the point of attack coming from this left-hand side as far as Hamilton are concerned. The switch over to Kawachi, creating those one-on-one situations, causing havoc down the Blue Dogs' left-hand side.
That one's going to run a little bit too far there for Jeremy Durand.
You can see Kawachi is remaining really, really wide when the ball's on this left-hand side for Hamilton, and isolating the not Bangalow players. Yes, the Bangalow players. I've been stumped a few times today with Bangalow and Boambi. Apologies to the Blue Dogs fans.
And they've done it again there. Marcus Duncan now was the target, but McGuinness couldn't pick him out. And you're right, those early passes they're looking to play for McGuinness and Pappas. Now Cooper with his foot on the ball. He slides it through to Ken Harrison. He's going to try and cross it low. Cleared away in the end from Bangalow there.
It's a great touch from Kawachi, and it's what you get from smart players, Q, because on that occasion you could see the defender stayed with Kawachi, went outside, so Kawachi comes inside, opens the gap for Marcus Duncan, who can get beyond him, and it's a great understanding on the right-hand side between those two.
And that's often where you can see, we talk about in the modern day of football, the power that the wide fullbacks can often have in our game with their overlapping runs, and they can be so dangerous. And we're seeing that already. I think Marcus Duncan and Cody Lucas have probably been two of the standouts so far for Hamilton this season for them, and that's defending, but also going forward as well.
Yeah, that's right. And when you've got two players, Pappas and McGuinness especially, who can pretty much find that pass from anywhere on the field, it is a constant threat.
Well, here we are again. Cody Lucas with it, trying to get high up the field. He's making a run in behind. Sutherland chooses to go the other way, though, to Cooper. Cooper with it again, trying to play that 1-2. Maybe he can get it back now. He does! I think that's been saved.
Again, Q from Cooper, just in behind the defence, coming from midfield. The understanding, Kawachi, McGuinness, Cooper. It's going to be a common thread, I think, through this 90 minutes of those three names. Great save again, Juarez.
Yeah, Juarez being called upon multiple times already in this game, and we're only about 12 minutes old in this match. And you can just see the amount of off-the-ball movement from Hamilton at the moment is just what's killing Bangalow at the moment. They can't keep up with it. It's Kawachi's corner. Goes to the front stick. It's headed on back there. Maybe he's going to pop out. Does for Reece Cooper. His shot goes wide.
Yeah, Cooper got a good look at that one. He probably would like that opportunity over again. Very rarely did he miss hits a pass or a shot. He did on that occasion, just pulling it to his left-hand side. Juarez breathes a sigh of relief to see it go past his post for a goal kick.
And although it was 1-0 only to Hamilton, and a lot of people will peg them as the favourites going into this game, the longer the Bangalow can kind of just stay in this match, maybe a 1-0, or hopefully a 1-0 for them, the chance of them being able to maybe snag one on the break or so in transition, they've just got to try and hold out here and not let it get, make the mountain too high too quickly.
Yeah, you're right, Q. It's a case of a little bit of weather in the storm at the moment. Hamilton are fairly and squarely on top, but they need to just take their opportunities, make sure that they get some possession when they have the opportunity to, because the number 10, Rory Devlin, he will get opportunities. He's a proven goal scorer. They just need to make sure that they can move the ball up the field in a way that's going to allow him to get into the game and not keep him too isolated for too long.
Rory Devlin, he has scored 9 goals already this season in the Football Far North Coast Men's Premier Division for the Blue Dogs. They are sitting on top of the Men's Premier Division table over in Far North Coast. 1-6, lost 2. Hamilton Olympic, we know, sitting in 8th in the NPL Northern New South Wales. They've had a bit of an inconsistent start to the year. They've won 4, drawn 2, lost 5.
Yeah, Q, they are sitting 8th. It's not where they want to be, Hamilton, and probably not where a lot of people would have expected them to be at this point in the season. And I think it's fair to say that the qualification through to the round of 32 in the FFA Cup has been the missing piece of the puzzle for Hamilton over the last number of years. It's been something they're dying to achieve. It's a great opportunity here.
Can he get a shot away? Hits the post! Straight off the umpire there from Callan Viel. And maybe we would have seen a bit of a change at the pace of the game if that had gone in. Almost a defensive mishap of sorts. It seemed like it was going to be taken care of by either Jez Murray, the goalkeeper, or I think it was Kyle Hodges, but Viel, he found a way to sneak him behind and got a shot away, just smacking into that upright.
Yeah, a little bit of a misunderstanding there from Hamilton, and this is an example of what is going to face Bangalow, and they need to make sure that when these opportunities arrive, that they do take their chances. Unfortunately, that time, just hitting the inside of the post and bouncing away. They're not going to have too many opportunities, you would imagine. So it's important that when they do, they make them count. But positive signs are bringing themselves back into the game.
We know Hamilton, they have one of the better defences in the NPL Northern New South Wales, 3rd best on goals per game average in the league. Bangalow as well, though, in their Men's Premier Division have one of the better defences as well, 2nd best defence in their league, as Duran trying to put pressure on Murray there, but he easily gets it away to Pettit. Now to Duncan, that far side. Kawachi. Hamilton's last outing saw them go down 4-2 at the hands of Western, or really at the hands of Nathan Morris in that one. A rather late loss to the Bears in that one. The last outing, though, for Bangalow, they picked up a 3-1 victory over Alstonville. As Pappas looks long, but...
Yeah, looking for Kawachi on that occasion. Hands up in the air, and apology as soon as he struck that one. Got it a little bit wrong, Pappas, but again, looking to isolate Kawachi on the right-hand side.
Jonathan Green now with the throw-in. Looking for some movement, not really getting it though. Kyle Hodges now up with the header. Falls for Duran though, and he tries to flick it on there to Dane Smith. Viel now with it again. He's going to turn back on the outside and play it to Fuller. They're going to go with first time cross. It's a bit of a duffed kick, but it almost fell nicely for Smith. Now Hamilton again just going to take the quickness out of the game and just control it. Take their time going forward, and that's probably something they need to do, especially at Bangalow. Look to just get bodies behind the ball and just trying to squeeze them back. Hamilton are going to have to stay patient, or as we saw, Bangalow can strike against them.
Yeah, that's right. And while they want to get on top nice and early, they're 1-0 up, they'll want more. It's important that Hamilton pick and choose when the time to increase the tempo is, and when to slow up a little bit and just consolidate and give your key players just a chance to recover. As you see, Reece Cooper
going forward. Harrison now, can he get it back to Cooper? He does! In with a block though was Jonathan Green.
Yeah, super block.
Harrison's going to recover it and come back to Kawachi, and they've gone all the way back to Duncan now. And a life-saving block there, wasn't it, from Jonathan Green coming across Reece Cooper. Looked like it might have been the second goal of the game.
Yeah, really good piece of defending, Jonathan Green. He didn't give up. It wasn't his runner, Reece Cooper, as he came through, but he did recover across and get his leg in there and block the shot. Looked like it was an open goal opening up for Cooper, but not to be. The Blue Dogs still in the game.
Still 1-0, yes. And Duran now, he's trying to get forward. Bit of space now when Bangalow get it going forward. Jonathan Green again, finding the foot of, I believe that's Devlin there, but Smith was trying to get a shot away. Blocked again. Now here's some space for Kawachi. Maybe switching off there was Fuller. Does well, though, to recover in the end and win possession back for the Blue Dogs. Maybe keep some possession for themselves now. No, giving it away. Cody Lucas. Now Harrison on this close sideline. He tries to get a ball in, but it's just too high and too wide in the end. And Lucas signalling to Jad Sutherland to cover for him. To running out of position. Rose looks for Devlin and couldn't control it, and Hamilton back on it again. And they're giving Kawachi a lot of space on that far side of the field. Might need to be playing a bit tighter to him. Maybe man marking might be a better option, because at the moment it seems like when they're giving him too much space and playing a bit zonal, it's not really working.
Yeah, at the moment you're exactly right, Q.
Ken Harrison! Well, that makes it 2, and that's 2 for Harrison as well. And not much really going on.
No, good finish, Ken Harrison. He's capitalised there. He's made it really difficult for the defender to get the ball out of his feet. Good challenge. The ball was quite fortunately dropped just in front of him, and he's ripped that one into the top of the net. Juarez with not much chance, and Harrison doubles his account. Hamilton double their lead.
Well, rather frustrating as well, you would think, for Bangalow, because they were starting to play a bit more structured football. It looked like they were starting to get the foot onto the ball a bit more and being able to handle their attack, and almost a defensive mistake is what leads to the second goal of the game. Hamilton Olympic now 2-0.
And again, Q, it comes from a play that didn't quite come off, but the long diagonal into Kawachi had a poor touch, but what it does is it requires the Bangalow defence to move and move as a unit so that they're not too isolated out there, and it's Scott Fuller with the responsibility at the moment of dealing with Kawachi, as you see now, and probably giving him a little bit too much space. But with all due respect, he'll be a little bit nervous of getting too close and then allowing Marcus Duncan to come out the outside. So some really difficult problems for Bangalow at the moment to try and solve.
Well, yeah, and you can see now Kawachi, now he's back into the middle, and Reece Cooper was playing out wide. So with the off-the-ball movement from Hamilton at the moment, it can make defending a bit of a nightmare, because you're not really sure, as I was just saying, I mean, man marking as well may not even be an option, because they're just running around everywhere, aren't they?
Right, and this is the opportunity again. Kawachi comes inside, Duncan around the outside, getting Harrison onto the ball.
Might fall to Reece Cooper there, doesn't. McGuinness is now going to jump on the end of it now. Cody Lucas swings it out to Sutherland. Sutherland's got some space, might take him on one-on-one. Sutherland against Green, still with it. Sutherland crosses it in, looking for Cooper. And again, Hamilton with their foot on the ball and a lot of space in front of them. Sutherland now coming back to Pappas again. And they're playing a very well-disciplined game at the moment. Hamilton, they are, other than that bit of a hiccup early on with Callum Viel in hitting the post, been rather sound with keeping the ball and choosing their right moments to go forward. It's just, we say that Pappas gets rid of it, but Cooper does well to regain possession.
Yeah, and what you're seeing, Q, is you're seeing some really good players, Pappas, McGuinness, Kawachi, Cooper, giving a bit of a masterclass at the moment in positioning and playing in between lines and putting yourself where you can see the ball and your immediate defender. And each time they receive the ball, it looks like they're in an acre of space and they can see forward and play forward.
Sutherland now, he's doing well to hold on to that. For such a small person of sorts, he does extremely well to hold on to the ball. And
yeah, good technique, Sutherland. He doesn't need to be too physical. It's not his game. But he absolutely has the ability to move that ball wherever he needs it to be. Doesn't need to get in too many physical battles.
No, definitely a player to watch out for the future in the NPL as well. Has all the skills to make it into a great player. As Cooper now looking for Lucas. He's going to find him as well. Good touchdown there from Lucas now to control the ball, and Sutherland giving it away though. Dunsmore, who won the ball back for them.
And that's much better from Bangalow. They've recovered the ball. They're stringing a few passes together. There we go again.
And there's the commentator's curse, Kawachi with it, looking for Cooper. Connor Bensley ended up with it, and VL now wins it. Bensley again, holding off Cooper, that fast side, and unable to keep possession though. Bundled out there from the Hamilton defence.
Yeah, when I talk about trying to keep the ball, it's not about trying to keep the ball just for the sake of having the ball, but what you find when you're playing these games and you're in Bangalow's situation and Hamilton are moving you around so much that when you actually win the ball, you find that you're not close to the shape you want to be in when you've got the ball. So it's important to retain the ball for long enough to be able to get into that structure so that you can start and play the way you want to play. Otherwise, you fall into this trap of continually turning the ball over and giving the ball back to your opponents in bad areas.
Well, it's interesting to know that as well, because if you are using all your energy to defend as well, as soon as you get that ball and you want to try and keep it and you want to try and potentially go forward with it, you're already too buggered. Exactly. So you don't really have the energy to do so.
Exactly right, Q. You speaking from experience there?
I don't do any defending. Don't be silly.
No, that's all right. Neither do I.
Well, Bangalow, they've had a good run to get to this moment, though, in the FFA Cup. Not an easy thing to do, especially in the Northern Conference, where only 2 teams do go through, as Dunsmore there pressured by Sutherland. Bangalow most recently won their game as a header there from, I think it was
Jeremy Duran, super header.
Yeah, Duran, he just, not sure if it was a header or if it was more the ball hit him, but regardless, he controlled it down well. Sutherland now, McGuinness now tackled, but it goes to Lucas, and then he's going to win a throw-in. But
you can hear Peter McGuinness on the sideline giving his son Jake a bit of a hurry-up, saying less fancy stuff, just get the ball played, Jake.
Well, Devlin now, he's going to shoot, but wasn't really hit with much gusto as he would want. They're saying Bangalow, they won their most recent one to get here, 1-0 against Kempsey Saints from Football Mid-North Coast, and before that a 3-1 victory or 2-1 victory I should say, against Coff City Tigers from North Coast Football. As a low ball there from Marcus Duncan, not really sure exactly who he was looking for, but only found a blue dog in the end. And the match before that as well, a 6-1 victory over Oxley Vale Atunga. So they've scored quite a few goals so far, but they've also not conceded many in the FFA Cup. Hamilton, compared to some of the other NPL sides, have had a bit of a dream run so far in the Cup in terms of their opponents. In their first game in round 4, they got Hamilton Azuri, won 6-1. And then in the most recent one against Warners Bay, I should say, won 11-0 in that game to progress to the state qualifiers. And when you look at teams like Broadmeadow Magic, who have had South Cardiff, one of the top sides in the UFM Northern League 1, and Lambton Jaffers as well, and now they've got Edgeworth coming up a bit later on this afternoon. They'll be wondering how Hamilton have got so much. As Jazz Sutherland now, he's found a way in behind the defence. Can he get a shot away? He's still dancing with force for Harrison, looking for a hat-trick. Sutherland still has it though, and no one's going to get a shot away in the end.
Yeah, good scrambling there from Bangalow. A couple of chances opened up. Harrison, Sutherland couldn't quite get a shot away.
And that is a trend that we've noticed early, that late scramble from Bangalow at the moment is something that's really keeping them, whether it is the defence or whether it's Juarez in goal as well.
Absolutely, a couple of really good interventions at the back.
It's Marcus Duncan now. He's got that ball on the far side of the field, far side of your screens. He's just looking for someone to give it to. Finds Jake McGuinness. Now Kyle Hodges, maybe he wants to get part of the attack. Played probably over 250 games if you count cup games as well, and he still hasn't scored a goal for Hamilton Olympic.
Is that right?
Still never scored a first-grade goal for Hamilton.
Absolute stalwart of the club. Not only a fantastic player, a great leader of this team, top bloke, a really well-liked member of the football community in the Hunter region. Maybe
today's a day, do you think?
Maybe today could be the day.
Wouldn't that be history in the making, you could say? It would be if it happened.
The good thing about Kyle Hodges is that he will absolutely know that scoring goals is not part of his job description. It's absolutely up at the other end and making it very, very difficult.
It's Reece Cooper, he's been given offside there following the ball from Kawachi. It would be nice to almost be here to witness Kyle Hodges' goal, because it's almost a bit like the Loch Ness Monster at the moment. Bit of a myth.
I just like to see his celebration. I'd like to see what he's got in his locker. He's a pretty stylish guy, so I'm sure he's got something.
He's had time to practice it as well, hasn't he? Since his debut all those years ago.
It might go for a while.
Referee says, let's just take that one back. Ball still rolling, I think was the call. Hamilton's leading goal scorer today. We talked about Roy Devlin for Bangalow, scoring 9 goals for the Blue Dogs this season in their league. For Hamilton, Scott Pettit's been the man who's done the most damage in front of goals. 6 goals so far in the season. He is sitting on the bench though, and Kent Harrison now is potentially getting close to taking him over. Reece Cooper stays on his feet and he's in behind now. Might keep going himself, does so! And it's a brilliant goal from Reece Cooper, makes it 3-0.
It's a magnificent goal. Reece Cooper showed outstanding balance. Could have maybe gone down inside that penalty area and had a penalty shout, but stayed on his feet. Recovered the ball and some really fancy footwork to get around the Blue Dogs defender. I can't quite recall which defender it was, and a super finish. Reece Cooper's been prominent in this first half, as he has been for majority of the games he puts on a Hamilton shirt. He's a super, super player. That I'm sure would have not too many problems moving on to the next level, Q. It's pretty common thought bubble around the NPL is that Reece Cooper is right up there with the very best in the league. And
it is. Spent some time as well in his juniors playing at the Newcastle Jets youth as well.
Absolutely.
In the academy system. Scored a bucket load of goals already for Hamilton. Played his 100th game for the club 2 weekends ago against Valentine Phoenix. And like you said, definitely he's already a star of the club, isn't he? He's still young, still plenty of years left in him.
He is young and he is good, and Hamilton know that they've got a gem there, and they're going to look after him and make sure that no other clubs come along and pry him out of their clutches.
Unless maybe that club's Newcastle Jets, if you're listening.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
Suarez now, he's going to play it safe to his central defender there, Talone. Green now. Chips it back on the inside there, I think to Dunsmore. And Smith, though, he wasn't able to get a hold of it. Cody Lucas now swinging the ball over to Pettit. This is the third game of 4 here today on Bar TV Sports. FFA Cup State Qualifiers. Still the big one to come between NPL heavyweights. A grand final rematch in the Cup. Edgeworth Eagles against Broadmeadow Magic. They played last weekend. It was a 0-0 draw. Much drearier conditions, though, compared to what we have here today.
Yeah, probably didn't live up to the hype last weekend, to be brutally honest, Q. I thought it was an average game, pretty cagey affair. Both teams not wanting to give too much ground. Today, hopefully, might be a little bit different, a bit more open. No excuses for the surface. Both teams like to get the ball down and play. So I've got strong hopes that we might see a few goals this afternoon and a few fireworks.
Sutherland now gets it in behind to Harrison. Harrison, it was a sliding challenge coming there from Bensley. Dispatched Harrison in the end, and now he's going to cross it. That was a good cross. A Kawachi, maybe just a little bit too long. Don't think that one stayed in. It hasn't. Marcus Duncan almost going through the fence there on the far side.
Yeah, and to their credit, the Bangalow back four they've done a decent job in the first 32 minutes that we've played. It might seem a little bit funny. They're 3-0 down, but they've been pretty cohesive. They've tried to defend as a unit. But when you've got people like Reece Cooper and Kawachi making those dangerous runs from midfield, it is quite difficult. But they can hold their heads up high in the first half. Well,
it almost seems like, if I was a Bangalow defender, I almost feel a bit let down from the midfield, because it seems like a lot of the chances are coming through the midfield of sorts.
Yeah.
They're doing their best to try and scramble and stop any chance of shots coming through, but Sutherland now with it once more, looking for the foot of Harrison. And just back onto that Edgeworth Magic game. We are told, we are assuming that Andrew Hull's going to be playing in that game.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's the word is from the camp that he will take his spot in the squad for the match coming up next.
Or do you think maybe mind games being played by Magic?
Yeah, there was a little bit of discussion around his future. Obviously, still absolutely set on finding another A-League contract, and whether playing the game today would absolutely mean that he would be cup tied and not able to play in the FFA Cup for an A-League side. So I guess we'll wait and see, Q, whether he takes the park for Broadmeadow or I guess thinks about his future a little bit more long term and sits this one out.
Well, it's not hard to see where you think he should be doing at the moment then. You think he should be maybe waiting off a little bit and seeing if another A-League club comes calling before the season?
Yeah, I think so. If I had my advice to Julio, that's probably it. But look, it's not my decision. It's Andrew's decision, and he's, we'll see. We'll see whether he plays or not. And I'm sure if he does play, it's going to be a huge, huge bonus for Broadmeadow. I know what Edgeworth's preference would be as well. So look, it's just one piece of the fascinating puzzle that it's going to unravel at 5:30.
Well, nonetheless, if he does play, it only means good news for us. We get to watch him. We get to see him live in action here against Edgeworth. There's now a chance maybe for Callum Viel, and there's a long ball. I'm not sure if it was a shot or a cross, maybe a bit of both. In the end, didn't find Duran though, and Hamilton again with their foot back on the ball. Reece Pappas with it and looking to slide through. Ken Harrison didn't slide for him as much as he would have liked.
A good piece of defending there from Adriano Talone. Got his body in between the ball and Ken Harrison, not allowing him to recover that one and face forward.
Smith pressuring Pappas there, but moves it easily over to Reece Pappas. First time Bangalow have ever been to the state qualifiers before. They're down 3-0 at the moment. Perhaps if they can snag a goal, it might change the balance of things, but at the moment, everything is in the favour of Olympic. And now Jake McGuinness again! Can he fall in the back of the net? No! Cleared away by Talone. Cody Lucas now with it. Sutherland with his foot on the ball. Reece Pappas again. Hamilton Olympic been to this stage multiple times before. Been to the round 7 stage, one game away from the round of 32 on 2 occasions. If they win here today, it will be the 3rd time they've been there. Of course, last year they were there in round 7, lost to Broadmeadow Magic 2-1. Big derby that was. And then back in 2016 as well, they lost to Lambton Jaffers 3-2. It's been a couple of years of heartbreak of sorts in the cup for Hamilton. They'll be fixed this year on fixing that and being one of the 2 sides to play on the national level.
Yeah, they are Q. They're a club that's itching to be part of it. They're a club that's had a huge amount of success locally, won numerous championships, grand finals, had some really top level players playing at their club, and it's been the missing piece of the puzzle, being part of that national stage again. Potentially a really attractive home match against an A-League club or a South Melbourne, for example, which will be a huge draw card for football locally. So I know the club are really excited, and today, I guess, is just another step forward to realising that.
Well, I'm not sure if South Melbourne is still in the FA Cup, actually.
No idea.
I think they might have actually been knocked out by the Melbourne Knights in their most recent match. But
well, that'd still be a decent game. Melbourne Knights, Hamilton Olympic.
Yeah, it was
Darling Street. Under their brand new lights.
Yeah, still plenty of good teams left. We do know 17 of the sides that have progressed through. I think the latest being Brisbane Strikers from Queensland. They've been there on numerous occasions as well, and all 4 of the Football New South Wales sides also been selected. One of those being Sydney United. Big club is Cody Lucas now with it. He might look for a shot away. Doesn't score too often, Cody Lucas, and he dropped it off instead to Pappas, but his shot went skewing wide of the goal. Yeah, for any of these sides to progress through to the round of 32 are just so important for the club, I suppose. So good for the club, so beneficial, but also for the players. From a player's perspective, they get to travel potentially, or they get to host some of the other top players from around the country, especially if it's one of those A-League clubs. You can see how it's benefited Edgeworth having to face off with the Wanderers and Melbourne City. They won the premiership both those seasons.
Absolutely, and from a player's perspective as well. We've got a number of players. Edgeworth, perfect example with Keanu Moore and Luke Walker. Nate Cavalier as an example, who have all moved on to, no disrespect, as Reece Cooper.
Now, can he get a shot away? He does, but it's blocked.
Yeah, no disrespect to Edgeworth, but moved on to bigger and better things down in the NPL Victoria. A couple have come back to Edgeworth now, but it is a really good shop front for players and coaches. So, while it's a big night for clubs to play away or home games, the players are itching to get on that stage.
Great opportunity for players to be able to showcase their talents on a national stage, as that one's going to be a bit long and for Sutherland. Thought he might have tried to have a bit of a crack at that one. Instead takes a touch and crosses, but cleared away in the end. Cody Lucas now, he's going to launch one, but that one's gone over the fence as well.
Yeah, and just on that one, Q, so they're doing it a bit tough at the moment, Bangalow, and their backs to the wall, their back four are really up against it. What I'd like to see is Rory Devlin at the top of the park there. He's actually standing in between the two defenders. On that occasion, Pettit and the other defender there was, I forget at the time, must have been Cody Lucas. I'm not sure. He needs to get in front of those defenders so that when the ball does come out, he's got an opportunity to get the ball and hold it up and bring the other players into play. Rather than standing in behind defenders, you're no chance of retaining the ball, and it's just a continual turnover.
Well, he has such that big figure as well, big stature about him as well, that he can probably hold off a defender, a hard defender like Kyle Hodges. He gives away the free kick in the end here, Devlin, but maybe needs to play a bit more like a target man, get that ball at his foot and have the midfielders bounce off him instead of, like you said, going forward and not getting in front of that back four, especially coming out of their own area.
You're exactly right. He just needs to be a bit of an option. He's one of their more experienced players. He's scored a lot of goals. He's one of the guys that, especially the younger people in the team, will look up to. For me, he just needs to give them a bit more of an outlet and hold the ball up and bring his midfielders into play.
It's quite actually, they almost got stuck in the ground, it seemed. Is Fuller now with us? Scott Fuller. Gives it back to Dunsmore.
Oh, Dunsmore looks like he's not 100% fit at the moment. He turned on I think it was his left ankle.
Yes,
pulled up a little bit sore.
Doesn't look too good. He's still hobbling around. As Jonathan Green now putting pressure on Lucas. Wins the throw-in the end. And Harry Dunsmore still testing out that, whatever it may be, in the middle of the field. Bit unclear to see what that actually is, what issue that he is facing at the moment. It's Devlin now trying to give it to Sutherland. Not sure if Sutherland was trying to flick that over the top, maybe with a little bit of a rainbow flick of sorts.
Yeah, it was R2 circle on the
R2 circle. He's Cooper back with his foot on the ball. Kawachi looking to go forward early, does so the other way from Ken Harrison, looking for Pappas, but well covered there from Talone, and now he's got some time to play into his midfield.
You can just hear Kyle Hodges there, just having a little bit of a go at young Sutherland. They had Reece Cooper and Ken Harrison pressing really hard up front. The only outlet for Bangalow was the number 4, Jonathan Green. Sutherland was just a little bit late on his press, and they allowed Bangalow to play out. If they're going to go and press as a unit, they need to make sure they're all going at once.
And again, coming back to that leadership that Kyle Hodges shows on and off the park. We talked about the three Fullers that are involved in today's game for Bangalow. Neil Fuller, the coach. George Fuller in the middle of the park with his foot on the ball at the moment, actually, trying to knock it over the top to Jonathan Green. Going to be a bit too big in the end. But also Scott Fuller playing over in the left back position. Neil Fuller actually arrived from London 2 decades ago. The coach of junior sides and been boss, we're told, of the Premier team for the last 5 seasons.
That's a great ball from Marcus Duncan.
Now Kawachi gets the ball in. Harrison for a hat-trick. There it is.
A wonderful goal that is. Marcus Duncan celebrating back down on the sideline, maybe to a couple of his Edgeworth Eagles colleagues who have just turned up. Magnificent ball. Right down the line at the right-hand side of the field to Kawachi, who played it on to Ken Harrison, who seals his hat-trick within 44 minutes.
And he'll like that. He's had a few opportunities to get in behind today and try and get shots away, but he's done well in front of goal. He's, like you said, been a great acquisition midway through the season for Hamilton and showing his worth at the moment. That makes it 3 for him, makes it 4 for Hamilton, and we are now 4 goals the difference between the two sides. Bangalow will be hoping that there's nothing more before the half-time break. We don't have long before the end of the 45 minutes. Then we'll see potentially some stoppage time. Roy Devlin now with his foot on the ball.
That's better play from Devlin. He's in front of his defender. He held it up. Just gives his side a chance to move forward in numbers. Again, Marcus Duncan is the one cutting it out. Venturing forward as well, Marcus Duncan. He's on the end of this one.
He's into the box now. His touch has taken him out, but he finds Ken Harrison again. Now Ken Harrison's going to go for the cross. Cleared away there by George Fuller, but only for a corner kick.
Underestimated player for me, Marcus Duncan. He's constantly giving Peter McGuinness a 7 or an 8. You know, every game. Probably not the flashiest player as the cross comes in.
Nicked away there by Bangalow defence.
Yeah, probably not the flashiest player, but just gets his job done, knows his role. Experienced player at a young age. Technically very, very good.
It's a header there from Reece Pettit, troubling Juarez in goals, but takes care of it in the end. And we've seen as well a bit of a different role for Marcus Duncan in this Hamilton side. He joined from Lambton last season, and at Lambton he was very much playing as a central defender alongside Michael Sessions and not really using that attacking ability that we're seeing as long shot there from Devlin. And we're already seeing so far this year Marcus Duncan get forward as the referee calls half-time here today at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. It is 4-0 at the moment. Hamilton looking rather comfortable in their play. 3 goals to Kent Harrison, 1 as well to Reece Cooper. A nice piece of individual effort there from him. Hamilton looking very comfortable. It's going to take a big second half of Bangalow to turn this one around. But as we say, the magic of the cup, don't rule it out. And make sure you don't go away. Pete, what was your thoughts on that first half? Hamilton just too strong in the end.
Yeah, I think so. Too structured, too mobile were probably the 2 things that come to mind. And I think if you asked Peter McGuinness before the game what he hoped the game would look like, it would be pretty much what we saw in that first half. Bangalow tried very, very hard and looked good in patches, but in the first half just simply not quite there from a quality perspective. But they've got a chance to turn that around now. I'm sure Neil Fuller will have a few coaching points at half-time, and they'll come out to look to turn it around. Well,
we know that an early goal can change your game rather quickly. We'll have to see what the second half has in store for us. But make sure you don't go away here on Bar TV Sports. The second half is just around the corner. Hello and welcome back to the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility for Game 3 here of the FFA Cup State Qualifiers. Game 3 of 4. It is Hamilton Olympic leading Bangalow Blue Dogs from Far North Coast 4-0 at the moment. 3 goals thanks to Kent Harrison completing his first half hat-trick. And a goal also to Reece Cooper, a bit of an individual goal, that one as well. Has them leading and has them in a rather commanding position to move on to round 7. We've already seen Valentine Phoenix and Maitland FC progress through. Still one more game to come though, as we know, and it's going to be a big one as well. Edgeworth against Broadmeadow Magic at 5:30. Focus back on here once again. Thank you for joining us once again here on Bar TV Sports. My name is Quentin Connors, also known as Q. I am joined by Peter Haynes, former Broadmeadow Magic legend. Back on the call with you once more as Bangalow, they pick up the ball, and we've seen a commanding first half performance from Hamilton in the first half. Pete, are you expecting more of the same, or what do you think for the second half?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to take a similar vein as what we saw in the first half, Q. I don't see any changes of yet, but I can see, and I noticed during the half-time break, there's one Scott Pettit who's absolutely itching to get on the park.
Well, he hasn't even sat down on the bench, has he? He's still standing up. He's saying, put me on, isn't he?
So if anything, Q, I think it could get more difficult for Bangalow because there's still players that want to prove a point who are on the sideline for Hamilton. As the game goes on, it's a case of, do Bangalow play enough matches at this intensity to allow them to remain at the level they have been physically over the last the first 45 minutes and cope with the likes of Kawachi, Duncan down this right-hand side.
Harrison now trying to with a chip, but too high and too long.
But I hope they do. If they are to get anything out of this game or to get themselves back in the game, I really think they need more out of Rory Devlin. He needs to inject himself into the game somehow to try and get hold of some possession. And I think the goalkeeper, Juarez, needs to continue exactly what he was doing in the first half.
Keeping them in it, yes.
Despite 4 going in the net, he was outstanding.
Yes, and their defence has been making some scrambling saves as well, some scrambling blocks. As Marcus Duncan was as well. They had there some lovely touches from Kawachi. He was appealing for handball. Didn't get it in the end. Reece Pettit now all the way back to goalkeeper Jez Murray there.
Fantastic touch there. Kawachi just showing his quality. The Japanese superstar.
He's calling for Marcus Duncan to come around him there.
Yeah, Duncan a little bit upset. He didn't get that ball a little bit quicker. Made a fantastic run overlapping Kawachi. Came a little bit slow for him.
Well, Bangalow travelling around 8 hours or so to come to this game here today. Is Ken Harrison now with the ball at his feet. He might continue on with it. He doesn't know. And it's been a long trip for Bangalow today, although they might barrel out in this second half and out of the FFA Cup. It has been a terrific run for them to get to this stage, as it is for any side from the Northern Conference, considering only 2 can progress, as Kawachi now splices that one into the box there. Didn't really hammer it in, just a little bit of a chipped of sorts, and now just switches the play to Cody Lucas. We are told as well from Bangalow that one of their experienced midfielders, Joel Rudgley, is not playing today. I'm not sure if he's unwell or injured or so, but one of their better players that usually features for Bangalow, he's not participating in today's game, so maybe that has a bit of a negative effect on the Blue Dogs' performance so far. Marcus Duncan loses the ball there, and as we had noted as well, they only have 1 player on the bench, so maybe just proving they are missing quite a few players from their regular first grade side.
It is a good reminder, isn't it, though, as we see a great cross coming in. Cooper nearly got his head to it. It is a reminder, though, Q, just the logistics that go into the FFA Cup within Northern New South Wales football. A 9-hour gap between Hamilton. As we see a cross-slash shot from Marcus Duncan.
Juarez just almost bringing down the whole goal.
Unbelievable. A huge distance that these teams need to cover, and it really is a credit to the Blue Dogs and the support that they've received from Football Far North Coast as well. Steve Mackney, the general manager up there, has done a great job supporting this club and the other clubs who have taken part in the competition. You know, basically a 2-day travel to get here. We've covered half of Europe in that that distance.
They had a stopover last night in Port Macquarie.
So just one of the added challenges to football in Australia and the FFA Cup.
Especially in northern New South Wales, as Kawachi got hit late there, and he's not looking good at the moment. I'm not sure if it's just from the hit or he's run into the chair as well. He's lying on the ground. Not sure if you can see that at the moment. There's a bit of a pole in.
Yeah, I think he's collected
in the
photographer's chair. Got a little push in the back from the Bangalow player. I don't know exactly which one it was, and I think he's collected a chair. He seems to be okay, kid.
He's back up on his feet, which is good. We've had a couple of injuries so far during today's matches. We saw Liam Thornton for Maitland go for the head injury, as did Matt Lee for Kahaiba, both going off with injuries to their head early on today. So good to see that they're not serious injuries, though. And good to see Kawachi back on the field once more for Hamilton. Bit of a wayward pass there from Sutherland.
I'll tell you what has happened since half-time, Q. The temperature's dropped about 5 degrees.
It's rather cold up here. It's rather cold up here on the scissor lift as well. Luckily we brought some big puffer jackets. There's well one there now. Given away, I think. Bensley, I think it was. Cooper finds Kawachi. Great vision. Kawachi now trying to turn. Maybe could have made it a bit easier than he thought it was. Kawachi don't even really needed to just touch Harrison in there, but Reece Cooper, great vision there and expert execution as well to play that pass. As some of the numbers begin to rain in now into LMR FF, the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility, ready for the Broadmeadow Edgeworth Eagles game.
You can see both squads positioned over the far side of the field. Not too much interaction between the two squads.
No love lost between the two squads in recent years. Played in 2 grand finals, both of them in 3 years. Obviously last season, Broadmeadow Magic winning 3-0 against Edgeworth, and in 2016, Edgeworth getting over Magic in that one. I believe a game you played in, actually. 2016 grand final?
Yes, it was.
Sorry to bring up some bad memories for you.
It's the only one I lost, which was unfortunate. But, yeah, look, second best on the day. Daniel McBreen getting a goal on that occasion.
Did. 2-1 loss, I believe it was that year, was it?
It was. We went up 1-0 with a James Virgili goal. Couldn't keep the advantage, unfortunately.
No.
Daniel McBreen, speaking of Daniel McBreen, don't think is playing tonight. He's in Guam with the Guam national team, who went down to Bhutan overnight, for this, which kicked off their Asian Cup qualifications. So all the best. If you're chiming in, Macca, hope you're enjoying beautiful Bhutan.
Yeah, we're hoping that his Edgeworth Eagles can get a win in the next game. Shifting our focus back to here, though. 50 minutes gone in this one. Hamilton still ahead 4-0 and still with complete control, it seems, over the fixture. Bangalow not really keeping the ball all too much. Sutherland with it now at his feet on the edge of the 18-yard box, and he finds Reece Cooper. Reece Cooper's going to turn around, though, and just smack it into the referee there.
Yeah, referee in the way. He was looking to spray that one out to Marcus Duncan.
Marcus Duncan playing rather...
Kawachi in an acre of space. Sorry, Q, to cut you off.
I was just saying that Marcus Duncan was playing rather central than we usually see him. He's coming back out now, but Kawachi almost doing it all himself. And Reece Cooper now, will he slide McGuinness? So he does. Now across to there. Ken Harrison it is.
That's a wonderful goal.
That's his 4th goal, and almost just too easy for the Olympic boys up front. Kawachi with some fleet feet coming into that position, and then Reece Cooper, McGuinness combining well.
We said earlier on, sorry, Q, we said earlier on the combination, Kawachi, McGuinness, Cooper, all 3 involved again on that occasion.
And then Ken Harrison just being there constantly, isn't he? Just
And I'll tell you what, they look good, Hamilton. I know we're talking about a club who are 8th on the ladder and probably not where they want to be in the league. But today, there's a real opportunity, and you get a sense that they're playing themselves back into a bit of form here. They've looked really, really good today.
Reece Cooper now almost picking Bensley's pocket there, but Bensley does well to control it once again, though, but only finds McGuinness. And if we're considering that both Northern Conference teams look like they're going to be going home and not onto the round 7 fixture, and it does mean that both our round 7 games, the next stage of the state qualifiers, will be held on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what clubs decide amongst themselves for that fixture. The draw will be following the Edgeworth Eagles and Broadmeadow Magic fixture on Facebook Live, so make sure you tune in for that one to see who's going to be facing who. We know Valentine will be there, we know Maitland will be there, and we know that Hamilton will most likely be there as well, unless a Bangalow miracle comes about. We don't know who the 4th team will be, and I'm not sure many people do at the moment. That one's going to be very hard to pick, and that one should be exciting, but the draw is going to be all important to see exactly who's facing who for a spot in the round of 32. So make sure you tune in onto Facebook Live to see that draw. They will be contested at the club venue as well. Whoever gets picked first, as per normal draw rules, have been throughout the cup. Jonathan Green now, just a little chip over the top there and finds Duran. He's still in the field of play. Wasn't able to really control it though, and loses the ball in the end.
Yeah, Devlin again there needs to get in front of his defender. He's just sitting in behind, waiting for either a ball in behind or just not seeing things early enough to step in front. Kyle Hodges and Reece Pettit really have done a good job on Rory Devlin today. Can't quite get into the game. The big number 10, he is on the ball now. And the frustration, I guess, for Neil Fuller is that when he is on the ball, he's quite good and he brings other people into play. He's a strong lad. We just need to see more of it, Q.
Yeah, he has rather been missing at the moment, but that can be the case as well when you're coming up against the defenders he is up against. Reece Pettit, Kyle Hodges, two of the better players or better defenders of the league, making it work really hard for Devlin at the moment. Here he is with the ball at his feet now, holding off Reece Pettit, doing well in doing so as well. He's got 3 Hamilton players around him.
Yeah, that's good stuff. It's better.
You probably like that a bit further up the field, though, wouldn't you? Being able to hold off the defence and then potentially bring defenders out of their positions. Once again, Hamilton.
Another great ball from
back on
Duncan.
the foot of the ball. Kawashi now. Cooper. Great balance, hasn't he, Cooper? Maybe those futsal feet coming into handy. We know he plays lots of futsal and he's been rather successful in playing as well. Been overseas multiple times for futsals. Pappas is just still going on, but it was ruled to go the opposite way against him for holding onto the shirt, I think it was. I'm not sure if it was...
a bit confused, I think. There, Q wasn't sure what he did wrong there, but...
Well, he was the one with the ball as well, which you don't often see, do you? Giving away a free kick when you have the ball.
Not often.
Well, actually, you, Pete, obviously a Broadmeadow Magic man through and through, but next game featuring them in Edgeworth, what's your pick? Do you see your team going through to the next stage?
My ex-team, Q.
Ex-team, yes.
It seems like a lifetime ago now, but I do. I do think Broadmeadow will go through. I think it's going to be a tough game, not too much in it. But as I look along the two individual groups of players... and you
Ken Harrison.
Ken Harrison almost
that up to himself,
squeezing through again. Yeah, I was just going to mention, Q, I do... If we line both teams up and we look at the pitch and the speed that this game's going to be played at, I just see too many weapons in the Broadmeadow side. But like they have time and time again, Edgeworth, while not being individually maybe the best squad in the league, they're definitely the best team in the league. So it's going to be a fascinating game.
Now Duran, he gets his foot on the ball as Bangalow looking to push forward a little bit and maybe find a goal, but no. Cody Lucas snuffs it out. Now he's getting forward with pace. Cody Lucas swings it out wide to Harrison. Harrison now trying to get past Talone there. Might come back and get it. Doesn't know. Talone picks up the scraps.
He's done well there, Talone.
But then given away cheaply there over the sideline by George Fuller.
Had to get that exactly right, Talone. He went to ground very, very close to the edge of the penalty area. Timed it to perfection, won the tackle. Came out with the ball.
We're approaching the 60-minute mark, the hour mark of the game so far. Hamilton with the commanding 5-0 lead. Ken Harrison having scored 4 goals. Pete, in this situation, I mean, if you're Hamilton, you basically booked your spot already to round 7. Do you start looking at making some substitutions? None have been made so far. Do you start looking at getting some of those boys that play a lot of football week in, week out, maybe resting them because you do have that game in only a few days' time?
Yeah, it's a tough one, Q. Usually I would say absolutely, as we see Scotty Pettit just getting his shin pads up and his tape on and his...
But he might just be doing that as well.
The rest of it, he does like look good when he plays football, Scotty Pettit, and he does. Usually I would say yes, but you know, the situation that they're in, they're 8th in the league. They've struggled to some extent to score goals and close games out, so it's a little bit of a difficult one for McGuinness. Well, he's got a great opportunity to get good minutes into players in an environment that is fairly comfortable and work on some combination play and get a little bit of confidence into players that are going to be really, really important for them in the second half of the league.
A little chip there now, looking for Reece Cooper. Reece Pappas to Reece Cooper, as it looks like Scott Pettit might be ready to come on. McGuinness now looking for Sutherland. That might want to just trickle over the byline. It does. As a substitution is going to be made now, that one you're talking about, Scott Pettit ready to come onto the field, and it's going to be Kent Harrison, the goal scorer, 4-time goal scorer here today. He's going to be coming off a well-deserved break for Harrison. He has been phenomenal so far in front of goal in taking those chances, doing what some of the other Hamilton players have lacked in just a little bit, I guess, throughout the year as well. I mean, but also in today's game, they've been stamping their mark up in the front third, but just haven't been able to really score goals, except for Harrison. So he's really been a great acquisition, as we've said, for Hamilton, as Marcus Duncan playing around with it a little bit at the back there, Hamilton's defence, and looking for Kawachi. He might get around here, though, with his speed. He's looking to do so. Thought he did. Thought he might have won a free kick there. Instead wins a throw-in.
Yeah, it was a good recovery in the end there from Scott Fuller. Match Kawachi for pace. Good intervention. So we see Scott Pettit go to the 9, the point of the attack.
Bit of an unfamiliar role of sorts sometimes. We've seen him a little bit for Hamilton playing that 9 role, although usually we see him out wide, don't we?
Yeah, you do, and I just wonder if we'll see a fair bit of interchange between Scott Pettit and Reece Cooper in between the 9 and the 10 roles, or even at some point maybe even play with 2 10s. He likes to come a little bit deeper and get the ball, as he just has now, and face forward at the defence. So I think we'll see quite a mobile front 3 with a 10 in behind and quite a fair bit of interchange. You see Sutherland at the moment, a bit more central, Scotty Pettit over on the left-hand side.
Yeah, when you've got the players like they do up front as Reece Cooper, they're just going to be ruled offside with the front 3 that they do have, and they're so quick and, as you said, can easily change in between positions. Why not? Makes it very hard for defenders to defend, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Scotty Pettit made the move from Broadmeadow Magic to Hamilton Olympic at the start of last season. A difficult move.
Yeah, controversial for some, I would imagine.
I've made the opposite move, and it's a difficult one, and you know it's one that he didn't make lightly. He's a very, very popular figure in the Broadmeadow dressing room. Still got a lot of good mates there, and I thought for his football future he was better off, with a change of scenery.
He's got the ball now, and he's just dribbled well to Sutherland now. Sutherland might be looking to shoot. He did, but it was falling in the same motion. They're going to win a corner, but yeah, Scott Pettit had so many successful years playing in Broadmeadow Magic. Won was there in the glory years, wasn't he? In
He
the
absolutely was.
three
He was
straight grand final wins.
Northern New South Wales Football Player of the Year.
He was.
In amongst that. Him and his beautiful fiancée Jackie expecting a baby very soon. So the Pettit family is going to be +1.
We must make mention as well, for those who don't usually watch much Hamilton Olympic, that Reece Pettit, Scott Pettit, not related, despite being in the same side. And maybe you could argue, look a little bit the same. You could pass off as cousins or
Maybe.
distant cousins.
Good player. Scotty Pettit was actually part of the Newcastle Jets side that played David Beckham's LA Galaxy.
He was
back
he?
in the day.
There's a substitution made here for Bangalow. Sam Ireland, he's going to come onto the field. And I'm not sure I quite caught who came off it, though. Looks like it might be someone from the back line, was it? I think it might have been Bensley. No, Bensley's still on the field, so we'll have to play process of elimination on this one to see who they've subbed off. But Kawachi now, he's kept that one in. He's done well. Juarez and Kawachi's now stuck in the fence. Needed help up in the end by Bensley. And now Ireland, good through ball. Great ball to VL there. Might have been a heavy touch. He's going to keep it in though. Crossover with that left foot of his and cleared away by, no, kept in. Thought it might have been cleared over the byline by Cody Lucas. And ball there, I think, ruled by Sam Ireland, the substitute. The only substitute that Bangalow have to make.
Easy decision for Neil Fuller, isn't it, when you look to your bench and only see one player sitting there? Who do we put on? On you go, son.
Yeah, you'd be a bit filthy, wouldn't you, if you didn't get onto the field? And so it's Cooper looking for a little ball in behind, didn't skim along the field well enough for him though. Duran now into Devlin. He chests it down and then
much better, Rory Devlin.
Must be have heard your coaching there, Pete, but not so much that time from VL.
VL's been good. He's been good when he's needed to be, when he's been called upon. He's been pretty tidy today. But Devlin, just the second half of this half, I guess you could say, Q, he's just seemed a little bit more comfortable in what he's doing and where he's positioning himself, and you know, he's really started to get into the game. So it's no coincidence that as he gets into the game more, Bangalow starts to get into the game more and have a few more opportunities. As
VL now, he is running for it with Reece Pettit. A bit of a foot race on now. Pettit's got the upper hand though. He's got in front of him and positioned his body well. And Kyle Hodges just...
some experience there from Kyle Hodges.
Living dangerously of sorts, but he looked calm and composed while doing it. Reece Cooper swings it out wide to Sutherland. He's got a bit of a one-on-one now, though. Bangalow defenders coming back. Finds his space through it. Kawachi, brilliant. They're going to play on. And Marcus Duncan! Well, pick that out. That is some hit.
What a super finish.
The referee played advantage, and we're thankful he did.
Yeah, well played, referee. Marcus Duncan, he's seen that one rolling across from a long way. Kawachi with a little spin and flick. And Marcus Duncan has run onto that from a long way out.
He wanted that, didn't he?
Absolutely buried it. When you've got your right back scoring goals like that, Q, doesn't matter who's playing up front.
No, it doesn't. And it just maybe sums up Bangalow's day a little bit, doesn't it? Just things not going exactly right for them today. We saw Callum VL had a chance early on to make it 1-1, hit the upright. And the chances have been few and far between since then. Pappas now heads it down to Sutherland. He might try and get this across the face of goal once more. Might go for goal himself. Jonathan Green, I smacked into him there. I wasn't sure if he handballed it, but his hands looked like they were firmly behind his back. Sam Ireland now trying to spark his team into action off the bench. VL trying to hit the foot of Devlin. Does so. He was looking for a nice little 1-2 back into the rain, into the path of Ireland. So 6-0 now to Hamilton Olympic. There's been goals galore here today at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Reece Pettit, he's going to be onside. He might go for the chip. Goes to the side instead. Nonetheless, it's a goal and it makes it 7 for Olympic.
It's Scotty Pettit doing what Scotty Pettit does best there. Identified. There's an opportunity for Reece Pappas to get his head up. He's made 2 runs, one for the defender and then another run in behind for Pettit. For Pappas to bend his ball perfectly into his path. And poor old Juarez, stuck in no man's land, started to come. Pettit guided the ball just to his left-hand side and it's nestled into the back of the net. Good introduction from Peter McGuinness, bringing Scott Pettit onto the field.
Yeah, it hasn't taken long for Pettit to make his mark already. And maybe he can get a second now. He's into the box once again. Nice little chipped over the top to Kawachi. Can't find it. Reece Pappas now on the volley. Straight at Juarez, and he maybe gets a breather after having been troubled a lot in the last couple of minutes.
Well, he's earned his money today, Juarez. He's seen 7 go past him, but he, by no stretch of the imagination, has put himself to shame. He has been very good when asked, when needed, sorry. The man, Q, you've got a bit more information, but the man has got his own tortilla business.
His own tortilla and corn chip business in Barangba, in the hinterland of Murwillumbah. His own. Isn't that great? As another goal comes into the back of the net. This one comes from Reece Cooper. I was busy talking about Juarez's tortilla chip business, and instead, Reece Cooper just bangs that one in.
Reece Cooper just capping off another fantastic performance. It's what we've seen to be the normal from Reece Cooper, to be honest, Q. He very rarely has a bad game in the blue and white. Today's been no different. He's been probably one of their best. Super finish again. Juarez can't do much about that one.
Yeah, he gets his second, Reece Cooper, and it makes it 8 for Hamilton, and that was basically 3 goals and almost as many minutes, you could almost argue as well. It's been a lot of goals, and potentially we still have just over 20 minutes remaining in this game, and you just hope for Bangalow's sake that the floodgates don't completely open, and we hopefully that they can begin to work their way back into it. That helps that Reece Cooper isn't able to keep that one in just there.
Just lost his bearings there, I think, Reece Cooper.
Sam Island does well to find Devlin. He's got McGuinness up on his tail though, and McGuinness does well to win it back.
Yeah, well done, Jake McGuinness. Good recovery. Cooper directing Kawachi inside.
And then goes long looking for Pettit. He chests it down, but he's a bit too far away to have a shot. Backheels it to Sutherland. Sutherland there might try and curl this one in. No, goes to Kawachi. Now McGuinness, he's going to try and have a go. Corner kick to come.
And you can just see when Reece Cooper's on the ball there, he's dribbling the ball in traffic at the same time as shouting instructions to Kawachi, who just gets underneath that volley. But just the ability of Cooper to get his head up while he's under pressure, understand the game, and communicate with his players to make sure that he's getting the picture that he needs to be able to orchestrate this team. Magnificent young player with a really, really bright future ahead of him.
Definitely a future captain, I would say, for Hamilton, as Scott Pettit now has been told to move over to the right wing. He's been moved from the number 9 position as Jed Horner. He comes onto the field for Shinichi Kawachi, the second substitution made for Hamilton, as a handball is ruled there, courtesy of Marcus Duncan. Maybe Scotty Pettit wanted some more goals instead in that number 9 spot.
I think you're exactly right. He's a hungry player, Scott Pettit. He likes to be in the thick of the action.
We've already seen him score a hat-trick already this season in the NPL Northern New South Wales.
The Aston Villa fan, he's happy that he's the club he's supported since he was a boy. He'll be back in the Premier League.
Sam Island now, flicking it, trying to flick it over to Devlin. Don't often see Aston Villa fans roaming around these parts, do you? Be the first one I've heard of.
I think they keep it pretty quiet, to be honest. Not a whole lot to cheer about in recent memory. It's Scotty Pettit, a proud Aston Villa fan. He was there recently. Got Had to catch a few games on a holiday with his family.
Didn't get a trial over there?
No. The way they were travelling, they probably could have. But they've come good. Big Milo Yadnak got him across the line, back in the big time.
Good to note, though, that Milo Yadnak, Crystal Palace legend, not Aston Villa legend. Up the mighty Eagles. But Sutherland now losing the ball in the midfield. Has ricocheted off him, though, and found Pappas' head. And now Petty might go for that little left foot shot. No, Pappas maybe instead. No, he's going to keep going across as well to Lucas. Save there from Juarez, and he's almost being left for dead at the moment, isn't he, by the Bangalow defence?
Yeah, decent stop there, Juarez. Had to get down quickly to his left-hand side. So we see Bangalow with a rare 4-8 forward into Hamilton's half.
Devlin with it. Now Ireland. He's got Sutherland creeping up behind him. Jed Hornery, he's found himself rather deep for a striker, and Scott Pettit taking his opportunity to back into number 9 position.
Doesn't miss an opportunity, Scotty Pettit. Holds the ball up well.
And just oodles of space
Sutherland
now.
Flying forward on this right-hand side. Pappas decides to go left.
Cooper with it. Got Jonathan Green marking him. Beats him. Beats Fuller as well. Now goes for the shot! And that's spectacular! Well, take about Reece Cooper. That's his hat-trick, and that is a brilliant goal.
Yeah, I saw Sutherland on this right-hand side as that play developed. It was in an acre of space. Reece Pappas decided to go left, obviously, to Reece Cooper. He knew his ability, and then Reece Cooper, the stage was set. He's absolutely run a merry dance around the Bangalow defence. And how he's managed to chip the ball over Juarez, who's been outstanding today, into the top left-hand corner is beyond me.
Well, he's just sealed a hat-trick as well here in the FFA Cup, along with Kent Harrison, but...
Take a bow, Reece Cooper.
And nothing was really on as well as Jared Sutherland. He might want to try and get on the score sheet now. Wins a free kick instead. And I think the first yellow card of the game, I believe, is going to be brandished. Not sure if that one was to Talone or to Bensley, but nonetheless, one of the Bangalow defenders is getting it. Yes, didn't look like there was much on for Reece Cooper, and he's just pulled something out of absolutely nothing. And Jared Sutherland, uncharacteristically of sorts, going to take this free kick. We often see Reece Pappas or Scott Pettit behind this. Sutherland instead. Can he score? It's a good one. It's a great save, though, from Juarez.
What a save, Juarez.
Well, when the game's still 9-0 and he's pulling out saves like that, you know you have a committed goalkeeper.
Magnificent save.
Pappas, long, looking for Cooper. He heads it back into the mixer. Almost 10. Jed Hornery unable to divert that one into the back of the net. Went wide instead. Although maybe it was offside. I'm not sure. No, goal kick. Thought Reece Cooper was arguing for something.
Reece Cooper was sure it was a corner. He was making his way over to take the corner and found out it was a goal kick.
And at the moment you can just see, you mentioned it, Pete, about keeping the players on, being able to build that confidence and that form as VL tries to get in behind now, but Murray's is going to collect it all up. I was just mentioning, you mentioned about keeping those players on to build that confidence, build that form, and that's exactly what we're seeing at the moment now, because they're oozing it. They're oozing that confidence, just trying things they probably wouldn't try normally, and it seems like every time they're going forward, they're just going to score.
Yeah, and it's pretty rare that you get this opportunity to, you know, to get good minutes into players in competitive environments, but environments that you're actually comfortable in and you can, to a certain extent, control what's happening. So Peter McGuinness, very experienced coach at the highest level, using this opportunity to make sure that he gets as much out of it as he possibly can. And then it's not just about today, it's about the future for Hamilton Olympic and their climb back up the ladder towards the semi-finals and hopefully into an FFA Cup round of 32.
There's Marcus Duncan here. He's put it right into the path of Sam Ireland. It's saved. Viel again, but he just skies it. Viel had probably the best of the chances for Bangalow today, but hasn't been able to take either of them. As just prior to that, we saw the last substitution made from Hamilton Olympic when Fukumoto coming on to the field, or coming off the field, was Jake McGuinness. So Ren Fukumoto, it looks like he's going to be playing in the middle of the park, which is, I don't think, usual for him, but maybe just testing out positions as a wayward pass there. And finds Devlin in the box here. No! Unable to get a hold of it. Maybe
just couldn't stretch enough there, Devlin, to reel that one back in.
And maybe misjudging the surface as well, and what the surface can bring, that skidding across the ground on passes like that. George Fuller with it now. Sam Ireland. Too slow with it. Pappas nicks it away.
And the space here for Cooper. We talk about positioning Q. He's always in an area where he can receive the ball. Always seems to have time on his side.
And Scott Pettit. Can he get a double? Tries to take on Scott Fuller there. Crosses it over. And Jed Hornery. I thought he was going to get a nice flashy goal there. Add to the equation. Make it 10 for Hamilton. But his nice little flicked shot and goes wide. Yeah, still 9 for Hamilton.
Yeah, well played there. Cooper into Scott Pettit. 1v1, which is the actions that he likes. Goes around the outside and got a good ball in there to Hornery. Couldn't quite direct it inside the post. He'll love to get his name on the score sheet today, Hornery.
Yeah, hasn't been on the field long. He would like to as well. We've seen with the new signing of Kent Harrison that he's probably fallen back to the bench, Jed Hornery, especially considering the form that Kent Harrison is displaying at the moment. He would like to quickly score some goals, so maybe try and work his way back onto the starting team sheet. None for him at the moment so far in this game, though. We've seen 4 come courtesy of Kent Harrison before he was benched around 20 minutes ago. And then Reece Cooper, he scored 3, sealed it with a phenomenal third goal. A goal also to Scott Pettit coming off the bench. And also that absolute bullet from Marcus Duncan. We can't forget that one.
Probably the pick of them, Q. Well, Reece Cooper might have something to say about that.
And let's not forget, there's still 10 minutes to go. Who knows what we might see in these final moments of this third FFA Cup state qualifiers. Reece Pettit.
That's a powerful run, Reece Pettit.
He's going to keep going on with it. He's still got it. No one's taken it off him just yet. He might want to go all the way here. He tries looking for Scott Pettit.
A pretty good defensive header there. Kyle Hodges not too happy with a couple of his teammates. Wants them to get them back playing to feet, keeping things simple. He knows that it's about creating good habits and using it as an opportunity to make sure they're fine-tuning their style of play.
Well, especially heading into the round 7, I should say, the round 32 qualifier sorts. As Pettit coming in, can he make it 10? Juarez again, coming to the rescue of Bangalow. He's been kept busy, but he's been doing extremely well. Cooper now, back into the box. Fukumoto tries to get his foot onto it, but instead turned by Callum Viel, and now Viel getting forward quickly, but closed down by Hornery. Hornery doing some good work in defence as well. He's playing as a striker, but we've often seen him rather deep defending, and he's got the ball once again. Cooper turns him almost with ease, turns George Fuller, and now slides Scott Pettit through. Can he get a toe in? Well, he wants a penalty. I don't think he's going to get one. He might get a corner. He is going to get a corner.
Well, Scott Pettit, can't quite believe that one. I tend to agree with him. I thought there was a bit of contact there, and it's he's gone down.
Well, there was definitely contact. It's just a matter of whether I think the referee believes that the goalkeeper won the ball. Juarez, he might be...
Well, the ball's gone out for a corner, so I guess he has.
Nonetheless, Scott Pettit over to Pappas, but his header goes high. And although we still have 9 minutes to go in regular time in this one, still a bit of football to be played. But if you had to pick a man of the match, Pete, who would it be going to? But I think I know who you're
If I was
going to
picking,
pick.
it's definitely Reece Cooper. He has been the standout today. He's controlled everything. Everything that has been good for Hamilton A has involved Reece Cooper at some point. He's scored 3 magnificent goals.
Yeah.
He's made some assists. He's defended well. It's very hard to go past Q.
Yeah, I think a worthy pick, that one. Reece Cooper has been fantastic. Obviously, 3 goals, never easy to get. Kent Harrison as well would be someone you'd have to mention as well for his efforts in front of goal.
Absolutely. There's been a few players who have been good for Hamilton. Kawachi was good while he was on the park. I think Marcus Duncan's been outstanding today.
And let's not forget to mention as well Kyle Hodges and Reece Pettit. They've both has been very sound in defence, very sturdy. As Scott Pettit now going himself, forcing Juarez to make a diving save to his right. But
You're exactly right, Q. It's been a good exercise for Kyle and Reece. Just more so their direction without the ball and talking to their midfielders, players, Pappas and McGuinness early on in the piece.
they're both on side here, Jed Hornery and Pettit, but Juarez keeps going with it. He's still going to keep going after it, and a bit of a scuffle between Juarez and Hornery. I think he's ruling
I'm not sure whether he's given that foul for the first tackle or the wrestle afterwards.
The first tackle seemed to be the worst of the two, to be fair. But I mean, Scott Pettit and Jed Hornery both seem to have a chance at scoring there, but instead left it for one another. And Juarez coming through. Scott Pettit with the free kick though, and it's gone straight there. Can Hornery get a shot away? He can't. He's still with it, but now he's eventually dispatched. Corner kick to come. And maybe this 10th goal is just going to elude Olympic at the moment there. We saw a barrage of goals coming on in the second half. We saw about 4 or 5 in about the same amount of minutes or so. Now they can't find the 10th. Scott Pettit. Another one. Reece Pettit. Can Reece Cooper get a 4th? He does. Well, that's just a brilliant day for him, isn't it? Just caps it off.
Well, Q, you were saying, can they find the 10th? It seemed to have gotten a little bit difficult for Hamilton. Then up steps Reece Cooper, who, when things get hard, give the ball to Reece Cooper and he'll sort you out. So
yes. When the going gets tough, Reece Cooper gets going, doesn't it?
That's a good one, Q.
Thank you.
Well done. I like that. We'll write that one down.
Reece Cooper, he'll probably watch this one back, probably try and see all his goals. He'll appreciate that, I'm sure. But he gets the 10th for Hamilton, his 4th. Is there more goals to come still for Hamilton and that man, Reece Cooper, as well? Can he cap off what's been a terrific performance so far? Not just from him, but from basically every single member of this Hamilton side, even the 2 players in the midfield, Jake McGuinness, who's on the bench now, but Reece Pappas as well. They've been commanding as well. Of course, the commentator just talking about how good Reece Pappas was playing. He knocks it over the sideline.
Probably the only player we haven't spoken about is poor old Jez Murray.
No, he's been kept rather quiet in there, hasn't he? Hasn't had too much to deal with. We discussed that Callum Viel opportunity early on for Bangalow and hit the upright. That was probably the best of their chances. He had to make a save on Sam Ireland as well in the second half.
Yeah, very good save.
But other than that, nothing much to do. I think I heard him in the warm-up when he was making saves and from his strikers. He had a pair of long skins on down his arms, and he said he needed to take it off because it was getting a bit hot. He might be regretting that decision now, considering he hasn't had all that much to do. It's a nice ball there to Reece Pappas. I think he misjudged that Jonathan Green was one of his own players. I think he deliberately left that one, it seemed, but a little bit of a confusion. Jade Sutherland trying a couple of tricks to get past his defender, who's much, much bigger than him.
As are most people on the park here.
Maybe not Ren Fukumoto. It's probably the only one that Jade Sutherland has up on at the moment.
2 very small players, but small in stature.
Not in spirit, that's
Not
for
in
sure.
Spirit.
Reece Pappas, he's got a bit of pressure coming onto him, but he does well to keep it, as he has done so often today. Marcus Duncan now going to go looking for the back stick really far to Reece Cooper. A great touch. Can he get a shot away? Well, that might have been the best of the lot, mightn't it?
Super first touch. Reece Cooper was coming out of the clouds. The ball from Marcus Duncan, diagonal across the pitch. He's taken that, controlled it in one motion, reaching for the far corner with a bending shot. Just couldn't quite wrap his foot around it enough. And as far as his game's gone today, you'd probably say that's a mistake.
Yes. You put that in the howler category, wouldn't you, given the chances he's taken so far
today? There hasn't been much that Reece Cooper's touched today that hasn't turned to gold, that's for sure.
Both 2 Team of the Year players last season in the NPL Northern New South Wales, Marcus Duncan when playing at Lambton and Reece Cooper as well, combining on that occasion. There's Dane Smith, a bit of a sniper out there, getting shot down.
Fugamoto just getting on the ball. You can see the quality that he's got. Tight areas, fantastic technical ability. Sharp player, likes to get around the park, as does Scott Pettit in behind.
Can he get a shot away now? Goes for the chip instead. Sutherland on the head. Wasn't too powerful.
Yeah, it just seemed like he got caught in two minds there, Sutherland, whether to head that one back across for the likes of Hornery or Fugamoto coming in, or whether to put your head through it on target. In the end, did neither.
Well, luckily for Sutherland, it won't matter too much on the result of this game. As Scott Pettit, he can't get onto that through ball there from Reece Pappas. It is going to be a Hamilton win. It's going to be a Hamilton big win. They are going to move on to round 7. They're going to join Valentine Phoenix and Maitland FC. And the winner between Edgeworth and Hamilton. We're down to 5 teams. Really? We've got to be down to 4 before we move on to round 7. A massive game coming up.
And the good thing is, Q, we're going to see a new entrant into the FFA Cup from Northern New South Wales.
We're guaranteed at least 1, could be 2 as well. There's Viel there. He's been troubled by Kyle Hodges in the box. But yes, considering the sides that are remaining, and the fact that Edgeworth and Brometto are facing one another, we are guaranteed to have a new side. We've only actually had, I think, 4 sides all up in 5 years compete on the national stage. South Carter, Broadmeadow the first year, and Edgeworth, Broadmeadow.
Charlestown were the other one.
Yeah, and Lambton as well, obviously, in 2016, only going to the round of 16 on 2 occasions from all those entrants. There's a flick on there and a goal!
Rory Devlin.
Bangalow get one back. And right on the stroke of full time, that is going to do us. And that will send the travelling fans home happy.
It's a good header at the end of the day. I was a bit hard on him earlier on in the first half. I wanted him to get more involved, and that's exactly what he did in the second half. And he's got his just rewards there, Devlin, for a really difficult game where he was isolated long periods of time. But good finish for him, and he'll have a happy bus ride home, hopefully.
Yeah, they'll all be. I can see now as they're shaking hands, a few smiles on the face of Bangalow, despite just being beaten 10-1. I think that will send them home a little bit happier than they would have with a nil scoreline. But that is that from Game 3 here of the FFA Cup State Qualifiers. A 10-1 victory to Hamilton Olympic over Bangalow Blue Dogs from Football Far North Coast. Pete, a result that you expected? Did you expect it to be so large?
But it's difficult. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from Bangalow. I knew Hamilton obviously have a lot of quality, and you look at the players that really made the difference today. And I'm probably not surprised because Hamilton have got that in their locker. But when you've got players like Reece Cooper, Marcus Duncan, Pappas, Pettit later on in the game, when they're at their best, no matter whether it's Bangalow, Broadmeadow Magic, Edgeworth Eagles, they're a very difficult team to stop. And tonight they proved that they're the real deal.
They did, and they move on now to round 7 on Tuesday or Wednesday night. They join Valentine Phoenix and Maitland FC in the round 7, fighting off for a spot in the round of 32. But thank you for joining me, Pete. It's been a pleasure having you on board. Thank you for everyone watching here today on Bar TV Sports. We hope you have enjoyed the coverage. Make sure you do stick around, though, here on Bar TV Sports for the huge game coming up between Broadmeadow Magic and Edgeworth Eagles. The final spot in round 7 is still up for grabs, and it should be a mammoth contest between those two sides. But until then, I have been Quentin Connors. Thank you for joining me here today. It is bye for now.